Good
Yeah,
afternoon. My name is Divyam. Welcome to your clapping Go session. How are you?
yeah, I'm good, and thanks for asking. And how are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. So, Naveen, right?
Yes,
Hi, Naveen. How are you? How are things going? Where are you from, actually? Tell me that first.
I'm from Telangana.
Telangana. Wow. I've heard so many
Yes.
good things about that. I'm planning to visit soon, although I have not actually planned my trip. I really want to visit that. What are the famous
Charminar,
places in Telangana? Tourist
Charminar,
spots?
Charminar, Golconda Fort, and
Mm-hmm.
Yadadri Temple, Swarnagiri Temple, and many are there.
Okay, maybe I'm forgetting, but my wife and I we saw this reel of someone visiting that place.
Related
Was
to
it?
what? Is it a temple or anything? What kind of is that?
I think it was something about maybe something to do with a water body. I know that.
Okay,
I'm not sure
Nagarjuna
what.
Sagar, we have many.
Maybe I'll have to Google it again. I'm not sure.
Sure,
But
sure.
if I had to visit Telangana, where would you recommend that I go?
Yeah, here there are many places, and first of all, you have to visit Hyderabad, especially. And here, several visiting places are there, such as Charminar and Golconda Fort and Birla Mandir, Hussain Sagar, and many more. And coming to the food, and variety type of foods are available in Hyderabad. Spicy, and Hyderabad is famous for spicy food, like such as
Mm,
chicken biryani and mutton biryani, veg biryani, egg biryani. Yeah,
nice.
many are there, and especially paya. It kind of bone soup, and it is very famous, and it is very good for health also.
Wow.
It is available in
Nice.
Hyderabad, and whenever you visit Hyderabad, and a small question for you, and you said you don't take lunch, and is it healthy lifestyle important or successful career? Which one?
Mm. I'll be honest, you sound like my wife right now.
Ah,
So it's not that I'm not trying to be healthy. It's that throughout my career, I've always had working periods where I couldn't eat during lunch. So my first real working experience was with my father because we're in the jewelry business, the family business. So what happens is we start the showroom. We have a office where we sell jewelry. So we start work at around 10 o'clock, where we are focused on inventory, cleaning, making sure everything is presentable for the clients. Right. And
mm,
then from around 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, all the way to 8 o'clock in the evening, we usually have a rush.
mm,
So there I'm focused on telling the stock boys what to do. Or I don't work there anymore. I'm just saying back then, for like 5 or 6 years, I was doing that. So again, during that time also, there was no time or no space to sit and have my tiffin or lunch, whatever it is. And as I kept doing different things, I realized that in the afternoon I can focus really well. So I focused my meetings, I focused my tasks or projects or planning in that time frame. And I've realized that I'm not hungry in the afternoons anymore. So
okay.
it's become although it is a bad habit, I completely agree. My father keeps telling me that you should have a heavy breakfast, lunch should be a little bit lighter, and dinner should be the simplest meal of your day. Like it should be like a salad and soup, something
Mhm.
very small, so that it can digest easily before you get go to bed. But I think I do the complete opposite. I have a heavy breakfast and then I eat my dinner, which is not a small quantity, and then I have a snack again before 11 o'clock, before midnight. So I do agree it is unhealthy, but if I was to tell anybody, then obviously I would tell them to take care of themselves. What is your
You,
schedule like?
yeah, I have breakfast at around 9 o'clock, and then I'll have my lunch at between 2 and 2:30. Then
Mhm.
I'll go for and I will take supper around 9 o'clock. That's how my eating menu. And in every office we have lunch break, right? And what do you do in lunch break? And everyone busy with their lunch, and you don't take lunch. And how you will manage that 1 hour lunch break time?
So I've never been in a corporate office where they have specific hours of lunch. I've always worked for startups and new companies where it is very flexible, like you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
And very rarely I have been in a physical space with other office people. There was one job I did right before COVID, where for 3 months I went there, and at that time there was a lunch hour. So what I would do is I would sit there with my coffee, and there are a lot of kirana stores or grocery stores outside my office. So I would go get salted peanuts, or I would get some sort of snack, basically like chana or something to munch on, because I've noticed that when I do have lunch, it makes me very sleepy, and my body doesn't really react well to eating that much food in that
Okay.
time frame, at least. Right.
Okay.
So I've made it a point where I'm like, it's fine. And the good thing about that in my family is nobody has to pack my tiffin if I'm going to the office. Then, I can just have breakfast at home, and I can come back and have dinner at home. I don't have to carry any sort of
Yes,
breakfast or tiffin box.
great.
Right. All right. So do you want to talk about any specific topic today?
Yes, and I have few questions for you, and
Mm-hmm.
shall I ask?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And it's related to grammar. And is grammar necessary to speak fluent English?
Okay. So the answer is okay. So for me, I don't think there is how people say it's black and white,
Yeah.
right? It's yes or no, black and white. There are two ways to argue about something. In my situation, I feel like there are a lot of things in the world that are in the middle. So these are called gray areas, right?
Yes.
So just so I can give you a correct answer, can you repeat the question?
Is grammar necessary to speak fluent English?
Is grammar necessary to speak fluent English? Okay, so it is a little bit in the gray area. So because the answer is yes and no. Yes, because your grammar has to be accurate enough for people to not dismiss you. Because if your grammar is very bad, then people will say, "Arey, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't understand the topic, or he doesn't know how to answer properly. Why am I wasting time with him?" And we don't want that. We don't want people to dismiss our opinions or our ideas, right? And no, because you don't need to be a scholar. You don't need to get a degree in English to speak. Very fundamental basic grammar is absolutely all right as long as you know what you're saying, as long as you have mental clarity that you are explaining a certain topic clearly.
Okay.
Okay. So this is exactly why, a lot of YouTube channels nowadays, they're becoming famous by explaining difficult concepts in regional languages. I
Yes.
just came across a YouTube or Instagram channel, I'm not sure which one, but an influencer, I would say, an influencer who explains scientific theories in Hindi, which is
Hmm.
very cool because a lot of the population in a lot of countries, not just India, right? They are limited by not understanding English, so they don't have access to certain information, right? Because
Yes.
it's very rare to find information about, let's say, a black hole
Hmm.
in Hindi or in you know Telugu, like whatever languages are very, it becomes very difficult. So when I saw that channel, I was really happy that they are getting a lot of traction, and I see a lot of Instagrammers or people on Instagram getting famous for making silly reels or funny reels. And
Hmm.
I have a bias, I'll be very honest. I like content that provides value.
Okay.
Okay, I don't like content where people are using clickbait or they're doing cheap tricks to get views or likes or shares. I don't like it. Again, I'm nobody to judge what they're doing or whatever. So that's why I don't comment. I don't do anything to anybody's channel. They can do what they want. If they're getting famous, then okay, good. But my appreciation is for people like this, where they are using their knowledge to help or to educate in the right ways, I would say. Right.
Yeah.
So if your goal is something like that, then I think you should not focus too much on the grammar, because your message or your goal is more important than the medium or the way you are communicating. I know this is a very long answer. I'm sorry. I just wanted to explain it clearly, you know, because you
Yeah,
should not be discouraged by not knowing grammar.
yeah, and I received a perfect answer from you. Yes.
Thank
And you
you.
said that yes or no, something 50% yes or 50% no,
It is in
something
the middle. Yeah.
in the middle
Yeah.
you said.
You cannot just start speaking English today and say, no, no, I'm right. I'm going to say in whatever way I want to say. No, you have to be a little bit accurate so that the person understands and then they respect your opinion. That is the world we live in. But you don't need to be like, you don't need to get 100 on 100 in the
Yes.
exam, right?
Mm.
Somewhere around 50, 60 is respectable. In that way, people will respect you and they'll listen to what you have to say. And then maybe you can even grow in your own career, or, just simply pass on your message clearly.
Great. And my second question, coming to the beginners, should beginners focus on speaking first or grammar first? Especially for beginners who want to improve their English speaking
Okay.
skill.
Okay. I understood. Yeah. I think both should be done together,
Okay.
because what happens is I've seen a lot of learners who have come to Clapping Go. Okay. So they'll
Yeah.
take their first session with me, and they'll be talking to me, they're making grammatical errors. But when I give them a correction, as soon as I start giving them the correction, they'll give me the whole definition. Yes, yes, my third participle of this. And I'm like, how do you know so much when you're making these mistakes at the beginner level? And then
Mm.
I realized that what they do, or maybe someone suggested them to do it, is what they do is they read a lot of books, they do a lot of written exams or reading
Mm.
assignments. They do a lot of learning, which is good, but when they were learning, they were not practicing.
Oh.
So now what happens is, this is like learning how to fly a fighter jet. You know, you're
Mm.
reading books, you're watching YouTube channels, and then suddenly you're in a war and you're flying a plane. You're like, oh my God, I know everything. I've
Yeah.
given my exam, I've passed. But now that I'm in the plane, I don't know which button to press, what to focus
Yeah.
on, where do I look, how do I sit. It becomes very confusing and, scary.
Yeah.
So this is exactly why, when they're training fighter pilots, now at least we have the technology for simulators, like computer simulators,
Mm.
where they will learn a certain concept and then they will practice it in real life in the simulator. And then learn second, practice again, learn third, then. And then obviously at the end of the year or at the end of their course, they will combine all these things and then they will practice it. And then maybe they'll go to a real plane and then they will do it. So similarly, I would say both concepts are equally important, but don't forget one of the other. They have to do both together. It's not
Mm.
necessary that you have to learn 10 grammatical rules first and then practice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 10. You do one, practice one. You do two, you practice two. You keep doing that. So that
Okay. A parallel way.
exactly, do that parallelly so that you don't get scared when you have to combine everything and talk to a stranger about something complicated.
Mm.
Yeah.
Nice answer. And third question, uh, is learning grammar boring or useful?
Uh, I think it can be both. It can be boring and useful. You know,
Uh,
a lot of things in life that are useful can be a little bit boring. Like
mm.
cooking, learning how to cook. For some people can be very boring, myself included. Okay. But again, it is important. We need to survive, we need to eat. So one thing I would say is we have YouTubers, we have influencers nowadays who are very good at explaining things, giving examples, explaining things, and making it very easy to understand the concept. When you understand the concept, you don't have to learn it. You know,
Mm.
you don't have to repeat the concept 10 times in your mind so it stays in your mind. And when you understand it, it is very simple to execute it when you're having a conversation, right? So find people or find ways in which you can learn easily, you can understand easily, and I think you should be completely fine. It can be boring, it can be very demotivating, because a lot of learners, they will slowly grow, and then after 2 weeks they'll be like, "Arey, where is my growth?" Or after a month they'll be like, "I don't see any growth." But what you can do is you can talk to a friend and talk to them every 2 weeks. And then the friend will tell you, oh wow, you improved so much, you improved so much, you improved so much. And then they will be able to tell you. It's the same way about, let's say a haircut. We don't see our hair growing every day. But if our
Mm.
friend sees us after 6 months, he's like, bro, what
Mm.
happened to your hair? Why didn't you get a haircut? That way. So similarly, be disciplined, don't lose motivation, don't lose hope, and then keep going, and you will see the results down the line.
Yes, and I can say that it can be boring if not taught in a fun way. Grammar, 100%. Right?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. And yeah, that's it.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And
So,
yeah, go ahead.
no, I don't have anything. Go ahead. You have a topic?
Yeah, no topic, and we'll focus on extemporaries, and we'll
Awesome.
give one two topics, and among that I will select one, and I will try to speak on that at least for 2 minutes, and
Nice.
that,
So that's it. By the way, this is the exercise I did in the beginning. When I asked you if I was to visit your state, what would you recommend me to do? That is what
yeah.
I tried to do, by the way. So good thing you mentioned this. I'll give you another one. Okay. Do you know or do you follow any YouTube channels or Instagram channel or Facebook channels, whatever, any
Okay.
influencers who are teaching something in the regional language?
Hmm. Actually, I can say that no, I'm not
No?
following anyone who are teaching in regional language.
No
Yeah.
problem. So let's do a hypothetical situation. Okay.
No.
Imagine you have to start a new YouTube channel, okay, in your
Hmm.
regional language. What is the one topic you would like to enlighten your audience or enlighten your, fellow Indians about? I think something that you would be an expert in, or not even an expert, but something you're really knowledgeable about.
Yeah, sure. But if I want to know all Indians about that subject, how can I, make a video in my vernacular language? If I made a video in my vernacular language, only my state will know about that. And coming to the,
Don't
if
don't
I,
don't worry about the audience. Just tell me your idea. Come up with an idea.
okay, sure. And I will start with food, authentic food.
Nice. Okay,
Which,
so
yeah, yeah, that is my idea. I will, uh,
tell me how you would make the YouTube channel, what content you would put up, how you would. Okay, food channels are available in English as well, right?
yes,
What
yes.
is the problem you're solving? That is the question.
Sorry, what is the problem?
What is the problem you're solving?
Hmm. Yeah, in my state, we have different kinds of food, and that is not junk food, and that is organic, and which is good for your health. And I will bring all organic food, and how we cook those organic items, for health benefits. And I will take that idea, and I will make a video by picking all organic related items, and that's it. How I do like that one.
Nice. So, is the video going to be educational about the nutrition of fruits or vegetables, or are you going to actually cook food and explain how the dish is going to benefit your health?
Yes, and first of all, I will try to say, I don't tell like a class, and I will start with, in a friendly manner, jovial manner, and I will tell the benefits of that food first of all. Then I will show you and how to cook that.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it's a local food, right? And I think many are don't know about how they cook all these ingredients, how they take and how they add while cooking. So first I will share the benefits, and followed by cooking. I will show
The
you.
recipe.
Yes, the recipe.
Okay, nice. Okay, good. That's good. That sounds nice. Awesome. So, should I give you your corrections now? Is that okay?
Yes, I'm here to correct myself. I'm
Awesome.
here. Yes.
Okay. So, I've noticed sometimes when you're speaking, right? you're not using the right words. Like even
Okay.
now, you said I will show them organic things. You can say organic vegetables or fruits, or you can use words like how I would use freshly grown plants to add nutrition to homemade recipes or common recipes in my state, right?
Yes.
You can also say, one thing you also said is that I will talk about the nutrition or I will talk about the benefits
And
and then I will do the cooking. Now, instead of the cooking, you can say, I would explain the recipe or I would show them how to cook the dish, right? Those are
okay.
two different things, and I think you mix them, right? I want you to look at the recording of this session. And even when I started with the extempore topic, I know that this is a little of a weird topic, but I want you to practice this extempore once more today by yourself. Okay.
Sure.
Um, the question is going to be, just to clarify, just so you have clarity of mind. The question is, if you had to start a YouTube channel in your regional language, what problem would you solve? Okay. And now I want you to focus on the food thing only. So you have to continue with this topic, but you have to start again. So
Hmm.
when you give the answer, this is how I was expecting the answer. Okay. Again, there is no right answers, but this is a better answer. So if I had to start a YouTube channel in my regional language to solve a problem, one big issue that I've noticed is that in my state, there aren't many fitness influencers or nutritional influencers, right? Who focus on the benefits of certain plants and vegetables and fruits, right? So what I would do is I would heavily research what plants are locally available and are not expensive. That way, when I'm giving the information to people, it is very common for them. It will be very easy for them to find these items when they're cooking their recipes, right? Then I would create a channel where I would make shorts in which I would explain which fruits focus on which nutrition. So, like if someone has a vitamin C deficiency, I would recommend them to have sour fruits like oranges, lemons. Um,
Yeah.
Again, I don't have the information, but you get what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
and also,
Categorize it.
when you wake up early and you can get vitamin D from sunlight also.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
all these
Yeah.
things you can mention. Then you can say, when I'm creating a long video, I would target a 20-minute video focusing on every dish that is famous in our state and how we can make a healthier option.
Okay.
So again, I don't know the dishes in your state, so I'll give you a very generic example. If you
Hmm.
had to say chicken biryani, right?
Okay.
So instead of, I don't know the recipe for chicken biryani, but
And then
uh,
take anyone which you know, like any
yeah,
sweet item, sweets.
even if it is chicken biryani, something
Yeah.
very general is a lot of people use a lot of fried products, right?
Yeah.
So even though chicken biryani doesn't have anything fried, I know that, but I'm just generally saying that if a dish has something fried, you can say, instead of fried chicken, I would like to introduce an option for baked chicken. Now, everybody doesn't have a air fryer to bake.
Hmm.
Air fryer is a little bit healthier, but it's still frying. But you will show them how you can use the tools in your current home to
Okay.
bake something to make it a little bit more healthier so that there is less oil in it, so that there is more nutrition in it, so it's easier to digest, right? So a little bit more detailed in that sense. This is what the extempore should have been.
Hmm.
Excuse me.
So have
This is what
water.
the extemp Yeah, this is what the extempore I thought you would have given, but there were a lot of breaks. And I understand it's a weird topic, so maybe you were thinking what to say. You don't know how the plan is to do the YouTube channel because I just 10 seconds ago I gave you the idea. But now that you know how to do it, I want you to practice it at home. Okay. I want you to see how you can give me a 5-minute explanation on the YouTube channel. Okay. You can use the
Sure.
points that I have mentioned. You can come up with your own points as well. Okay.
Sure.
Lovely. So we have about 2 minutes left. Do you have any questions for me? Any doubts?
Yeah, and the same. The question is, when you encounter any new word, and we can learn that, and how to use that in our daily routine life?
Um, See, it depends on the word. If the word is very complicated, then there's only two things that I do with a new word. Okay. First
Okay.
is if I hear a word and I don't know the word, I'll Google it or I'll ask the person who used the word what it means. That means I know the word, I understand the word, okay, how to use it or how people will use it. Then there is an aspect where do I want to add this to my vocabulary?
Mm.
That is a very difficult question because there are some complicated words that I don't like adding to my vocabulary, but I know I understand the word. Okay.
Um,
Like I'll give you an example. Jovial. You use the word jovial, right?
yes.
I don't use the word jovial, even though I understand what it means. I don't like to use it because the worst thing for me is if I say something and the person doesn't understand what I'm saying. Right?
Okay.
For me, as a tutor, I'm saying when I'm taking sessions. In my personal life, also, I don't like to use that because if something can be communicated easily, then you should do that. That is the whole
Um,
point of communication, understanding, right? So again, I'm not giving you any, I'm not complaining, I'm not saying that you did anything bad. It's good to know the words. But me personally, I don't like to use words like that because if the person doesn't understand, then I don't want to make them feel bad that I'm using big words or I'm using words that might make them feel like you know, I'm better than you or something like that. I don't want to do that at all. So that's why I
um,
try to keep it very simple. I'd say do it in a fun way, do it in a casual way instead of jovial, you know?
yes.
So knowing the words is not the problem. You have to make sure you understand where you use it, why you use it, and if you're using it, is it necessary? Right? Because
Okay.
everybody wants to speak like Shashi Tharoor. Nobody, I mean, he has a brilliant vocabulary, and I'm envious of him. I'm jealous of him. But
Uh,
I just think it's not necessary, you know, because if it's a simple way to say it, then say it.
yeah, and coming to Sadhguru also, he uses a, impeccable vocabulary. Sadhguru.
His communication is so good, not just because of the words he uses, but
Mm,
because his storytelling and his explanation of concepts is so simple and he summarizes them. He doesn't waste time with different facts and everything. If he has to say something and it only needs 30 seconds, he will do it in 30 seconds. He will not
yeah.
take 2 minutes to explain that, which is amazing. I love that. Right. Although I don't follow these two people, Shashi Tharoor and although I don't really follow them, but I have seen a lot of their reels and I completely admire their communication skills for that.
Yeah.
That's
When
good.
it comes to when my question is, I'm learning new words, but I'm not, I don't know how to insert in a sentence that word.
Right.
Recently I learned resplendent and ambience.
Can you
Uh,
say that word again? The first one?
Resplendent. Resplendent.
Yeah.
Resplendent. A shining, brilliantly, dazzling.
And like I said, I've never seen this word before, so I don't know.
Okay, okay. But I learned this, and I don't know how to insert in a sentence and how to use in daily life. And
Right.
ambience. One more word, ambience.
See, we live in a world where the whole world's knowledge is available in our palm. Okay.
Yes.
So I don't want you to use those tools. I want you to misuse it. Google every day 30 times, 40 times, 100 times. Google
Mm.
it, use ChatGPT, whatever you can to your benefit, do it. Okay. So you can ask ChatGPT how you can use it in words and how it would be a good way to inculcate that word into your vocabulary, all of that. If anything else is there that they cannot solve, then we are there for that.
And is it a correct way to improve our English speaking skills and learning a new word and trying to insert in a sentence?
I
Is
mean,
it a correct way?
to add words to your vocabulary, yes,
Yeah.
but the ChatGPT and the Google thing, those are there only for doubts. Don't use those tools for learning. Use them for doubts. For learning, you have people, you have books, you have channels, you have courses and colleges and whatnot. So those are the ways to learn, but these are the ways to clear doubts. That's all. Okay.
Great.
Okay. So Naveen, I have to take your leave. I'm so sorry for this, but
Sure,
I have a
sure.
session again in 5 minutes. Okay.
Sure. And it was an amazing session. and
Definitely.
informative also.
So much. It was lovely meeting you, and have a great week.
Yeah, same
So
here.
much. It was